Can we talk now? Are we allowed,
Are we
Jeremy?
allowed?
Producer Jeremy hushed us. He told us to quiet our cake holes. Super rude.
And now I want cake, which is even more rude because I don't have cake. Thanks, Jeremy.
Super rude. Yeah, there's no cake in this house either.
You
Anyway,
are
hi. Oh, get off. You get off. You go. Sir.
Hi, Charlie.
Hi, Charlie. You tell him. That is rude. He's rude. Anyway, here we are. You're in charge, Melissa. I'm just here to cackle, I think.
So I am in charge, which, you know what? You're welcome, everybody. So I am hosting. I have taken over Marisa's awesome channel because Marisa can't properly talk about her own book. That's our job. So we are here to talk about the official launch and kickoff of the Valkyries series and Valkyrie's Chosen, Bryn's novel. Y'all, it is amazeballs. I love it. I love everything about it. And I am so freaking happy Marisa asked me to host and run everything off the rails. I mean, we're just totally staying on the rails. I have no
plans. It's just you, me, and Charlie. We're going to be great. And a couple other people that haven't popped in. You leave, Jeremy.
So for Charlie and anybody else that's listening and not commenting, I figure we could start by just kind of explaining what Hit World is and what the Valkyries are and something about gumbo.
Sure. Oh yeah, that's right. That's funny. Was that Matt? Who did that? Okay. So urban fantasy, step one. So Hit World was the devious, absurd gumbo creation of, speaking of William Allen Webb and Larry Hoy. It is the most fun urban fantasy universe because it's just a bunch of everything. It's just a mix. There's interdimensional stuff, there's magic, there's politics, there's spy stuff, there's murder, all the good stuff. There are suspiciously colored orangutans. Oh no, did I just break my camera? I did.
Hi, Ben.
Can you still hear me though in the meantime?
I can still hear you, hon.
Okay, that's cool. So that's fine. Everything's fine. No one needs to see my face anyway. I just showered for you people. Whatever.
Your gorgeous face is gorgeous.
Thank you so much. Anyway, so hi, Ben. So urban fantasy, super fun. And Valkyries is a spinoff because, again, Bill, with his devious, absurd, amazing mind, was like, hey, Marisa, I have this idea. I think we want to do a spinoff that's like female protagonist led, and I would like some really cool women to do that for me. And would you like to run it? And I was like, 100%. Yes, I would. And that was several years ago, but here we are doing the thing. And I don't know if I can turn my camera back on, you guys. We're going to be amazing.
We're going to play bad magic. It's fine. Yeah, we are talking about magic here.
You add more things. What made you say yes to
oh my God. So urban fantasy is my love. Like, I started off reading fantasy and sci-fi. I had Mercedes Lackey and Anne McCaffrey. And then I discovered Jim Butcher and Alona Andrews and Patricia Briggs, and I was sold. I love all of it. It can be bonkers. It can be epic. It can be romance. It can be all these things. So long as you have a little bit of urban and a little bit of fantasy, you're golden. And Hit World is all of those things.
Yes.
Plus, it is impossible to say no to Marisa Wolf, you guys. It's also kind of really freaking hard to say no to Bill Webb because he is so kind and so generous with sharing all of his crazy, amazing ideas with us. And it's bonkers. It is anything goes urban fantasy with a backdrop of legal assassinations.
Right. Right.
So Hit World. So we have Hit World, which is like all the assassination stuff with Bill Webb and Larry Hoy running that side. And then we have Marisa Wolf, the ever fabulous, running the Valkyries side.
No. That's true. Here I am. I am here, I swear.
She is here. She's not a lizard person. And if you know what I'm talking about, you gotta read Hit World.
Oh, yes. And I agree with Bill's comment. It's this is Alita Polk's doing. Dang it, Alita. I knew you were Bryn's nemesis. I didn't know you were mine. Ugh. It's fine. My computer now believes it has 0 cameras, so this is really good.
I would like to point out that this particular instance of going off the rails is not my fault.
Well, maybe, I don't know. You had me gesturing wildly, and I hit the cord, and now my computer's like, mm.
How dare we have fun?
How dare we have fun? It's fine. You know, at worst, I will leave, and you can talk about me behind my back, and I'll come back.
Ooh,
So
I love this plan.
I don't know if I do, but thank you.
Just wait for you to leave, and then the only person we're missing is Nick Steverson to say like snarky, like awful things to your face, and then be a total sweetheart behind your back.
Yeah, that sounds right. That sounds exactly right. Okay, I might be quiet for a second because I might mute. So say crazy shit that I can't respond to, and I'll come right back.
All right, guys. So Valkyries is one of the coolest projects that I think we've ever been involved in, because we have this big interdimensional, awful, demonic threat, but it's all grounded in individual stories. So we have Marisa Wolf's awesome, like Nick Fury like character with Bryn, and then we have a whole bunch of other characters in this big interconnected, not spider web like thing at all. I promise, we're not the bad guys.
Probably not the bad guys. Nobody is the bad guy of their own story. That's for
I
sure.
don't think we're the bad guys. I mean, Alita definitely doesn't think she's the bad guy.
Alita doesn't think she's a bad guy at all. No. Did I fix it? Is Jeremy telling me good job? Thanks, Jeremy. That's not me telling myself good job. BT dubs.
I mean, you are doing a good job.
Yes, it only took me 5 minutes to figure out how to get my camera back on. In my defense, my computer was mad at me, so it's fine. So yes, I would say the big takeaway for urban fantasy as a whole, like as a genre, is it's just so much fun. And then Hit World said, you know what though? What if we make it 80,000 times more fun? And then Bill made it even more fun somehow by saying, here's a corner for you to play with all of your favorite people. So we're talking a lot about Bryn's book today, which I'm very excited about. And then we will also talk a little bit about what's coming up, because there's so many fun things. And basically every time I talk to a really awesome author, I'm like, hey, how do you feel about writing urban fantasy? How do you feel about shared worlds? Do you want to come play?
I feel like this fits with your character, because Bryn was a recruiter for LEI. And
Yeah.
I mean, this seems suspiciously like right in your wheelhouse.
I don't know what you're talking about. Right. Yeah, you know what? I did recruit teachers actually early in my career. So, you know.
It's all starting to fall into place here, guys.
Yeah. Yikes. Bryn is not me, I promise. She is much snarkier and fancier and magic-ier, but you know.
Ooh. Yes, that's a good question for later.
Oh. Plans.
I have a list of questions.
I love this.
And we kind of talked about like, you know, what Hit World is, what Valkyries is, kind of hint a little bit about what Valkyries is meant to do. We kind of like already spoiled my first question, which was what drew you to Hit World outside of our inability to tell Bill Webb no.
Yeah, that's step one. And then step two is it's so much fun.
Absolutely step one. So how about, and guys, please comment in the chat, but what are your favorite urban fantasy tropes? I want all the things.
Just go. One, thank you, Charlie. I do enjoy headhunting. And two, you were the model for the cover. You know, maybe in my 20s, maybe 20-year-old Marisa could pull off that butt. Current Marisa does not have urban fantasy cover butt, but Bryn does.
This is why we have awesome covers with dad ass.
So yes, please chime in the comments what your favorite tropes are in urban fantasy. I will say one of the things I love the most that I feel like the really good urban fantasy series like have nailed down is the gradual but inevitable leveling up of the main character, right? Like I love, like they always start pretty solid, right? But then like Dresden, October Day, Jane Yellow Rock. They start in a decent place, maybe not in their life, none of them, but in their control of their abilities. But then maybe not every book, but often. They like super level up, as do the threats against them. Supernatural does this really well. I consider Supernatural very urban fantasy, right? So eventually the leveling up can get a little crazy. Like now we're fighting literal God, but where else can you go? So yeah, so I do love. Oh, Ben, please tell us more things. Yes. Tell us history of urban fantasy in the chat. I love this so much. Ben Yellow, y'all, if you are watching this in post or if you're watching it right now, you should definitely say hey to him. He is just a grandmaster. Like he is so knowledgeable and wonderful and incredible about the field. And then as a human, I just adore him. I am very sad that I do not anywhere near me have my Ben Yellow fan club t-shirt, which everybody should have because everybody should be in the Ben Yellow fan club. So
yeah, let us know if you want one. We can hook you up because everybody should be in this fan club. We have ribbons too. We
do. We have ribbons. Thank you to Casey Azell, who is, hanging out with her family and doing like grown-up stuff. So she's not here with us right now. But we were talking about how we should have a Ben Yellow fan club. And she made it happen. So she's pretty much phenomenal and a ringleader of the best kind. So join our club. You'll love it.
You know you do. You know you want to, folks. He's amazing. And we love him very much.
We did recruit Charlie into the Ben Yellow fan group. Every con I go to. So once upon a time, I watched this show called How I Met Your Mother. That was like 90% really fun. We do not speak of certain parts. And there was this game that they played, Have You Met Ted? And I like to do this at every convention. Have you met Ben Yellow? Because you need to. It's going to make your life better. So yes, I am a big fan of recruiting people into this fan club. You're welcome. So anyway, that's one of my favorite tropes. I have more, but what's one of your favorite ones, Melissa?
One, I love that trope too. It's one of the reasons, like when I'm watching animes like Bleach, because it has that similar leveling up thing where like maybe they start, like you said, solid or clueless, totally clueless. Yeah. And then they eventually get to like ridiculous, okay, I've gotten bored levels. But it's still fun watching that progression, especially when it's a fight, right? They have to fight to level up or go through some really awful stuff to level up because sometimes we just love torturing our characters and it's fine. It's therapy. It's totally fine. Normal.
It's totally normal. Urban fantasy is super fun for the reader, not necessarily for the characters. Which I think is true of most genres, honestly, but details, schmetails.
One of the things I really love about urban fantasy is the ones where it's not like maybe the character, like say Harry Dresden, starts out alone or isolated. Mercy Thompson also started out a little bit isolated, and you get these glimmers of like a larger group or a larger society that they're kind of on the fringes or whatnot. But as the series progresses, they kind of build their found family around them. And I love how that is just a huge theme in urban fantasy with like not necessarily like the family you were born with, but the one that you chose. Yeah. Oh, I love it. It doesn't even have to be a romantic tinge to it. No, it's like your found family. And I love that part.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love that too. Although I'm not gonna lie, I do love also the romantic tension and suspense that goes into some urban fantasies.
Oh yes.
Yeah. I'm also cool when it doesn't have it. So folks, if you're looking for the romance, you might want to wait a few months. Bryn does not have any romance, although Bryn is an admirer of all fine figures, regardless of gender. Yeah, she's a big fan of pretty. But she does not have any time in this book to consider anything else but what she is dealing with. So it's a very clean in terms of romantic book. It is not clean in terms of language. Bryn also talks like a sailor, so it's fine. Yeah.
I seem to recall Bill Webb telling us that we had a minimum requirement for F-bombs in Hit World. I took that to heart, and so did you. We did very well.
I think we did. We exceeded. We did exceed. We did a really good job of that. Charlie really likes the reluctant hero, anti-hero trope. Yes, agreed.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
Your destiny is calling you about your extended warranty.
You can try to say no, but this is not going to work out for you.
keeps knocking. And usually when you ignore the first call, it gets so much worse.
Right? Yes, let's come back to that. I want to say one more thing about this this reluctant hero thing. I might have just lost it though. Oh, I do love when the characters start off as like, I am just here to do a job. I'm being paid to do one job. I'm here for that one job. That's literally it. I am not here to be a hero. I am not here to be a savior. I am not here to do anything else but this one contracted job. Shit, these 5 contracted jobs. Shit, I am the champion of the city. Oh no, I'm a hero out of legend. How did this happen?
I just wanted to have enough money for pizza. And now I'm responsible for Chicago.
This is some BS. Okay, please bring Ben's comment back, Jeremy. So this is amazing. So this is just real good history of urban fantasy, because city is the city, right? It doesn't have to be this city right now in this world. But this is very cool. Yeah, we should all probably be reading more of our classic sci-fi fantasy.
I have started a shelf for Ben Yallow books in my house, and my husband keeps looking at them and going, I need to read that one.
Jeremy definitely was giving, because when I first met Ben, I'm pretty sure we were already living in the RV, and so there was a limit on the books that I was allowed to have. But Ben got an exception, partially because after the first couple of times, Ben's like, I limited myself to 2. These are the 2. And so Jeremy would be like, fine. But then also be like, these sound amazing. So yeah. So Ben got a pass for books. I mean, what are you going to do? Yeah. This is good. Bill doesn't remember giving us the minimum, but I don't think that's.
I have a clear, distinct memory of this. I'm just saying.
Also, it sounds very much like the Hat Man to say such a thing. Yeah. He may not have believed that we would take this challenge. But also he's very smart, so I feel like he knew better. It's fine.
You know you love us, Bill.
I hope. I really hope. I mean, thanks.
Right? All right. So anybody that wants to like chime in on urban fantasy tropes, please keep doing that, because there's so many of them. And urban fantasy, it's one of those things where like when you're reading it, you know you're reading urban fantasy. It just has that flavor. And Valkyrie's Chosen, it nails everything that you want, and also a few things you didn't know that you need. And I am not joking. When I read through this, I leave comments throughout. Like a lot of it is just love this, perfect. Oh my God, cackling, dying moose noises.
Yep.
As one does when reading something by Marisa Wolf.
Thanks.
But I got to one point, and y'all, when you read this, I'm going to guarantee you will get this point. I got to this one point and I, all caps, yelled at her, "You freaking evil genius. I cannot believe you pulled this off. I hate you and love you so much." And then I messaged her the same thing because it was so well done. So 1, read the book because you know you want to know what I'm talking about. And that was one of my favorite scenes. One of them. There were so many, it was kind of hard to pick. But which, out of all of the many awesome things, what was your favorite?
Great question. So I really loved. I might have goose honked myself while writing once or twice. I find myself hilarious, it turns out. But Bryn's voice was so clear the whole time. Like there were times that I was on, you might see this in the author notes or the acknowledgements. There were some times this book was a little hard for me to write for various things, not because of the book, but just, doing life things. But Bryn's voice never wavered. Like there are times I will kind of lose the feel of a story and I have to get back into it or listen to something or whatever. Not a single time. Bryn, real clear the whole time. And so one of my favorites is her interaction with a character who was actually the winning bid of a red shirt character. So I won't say the name so that you don't know that they're a red shirt ? But there is one of the characters. Now I can't say anything. Oh, I ruined it. So Fantasy a couple years ago, this amazing person who I adore greatly, Kim, He won the red shirt bid for me for the next book, and then it took several years for that particular book to happen. So sorry, but here we are. It happened, and every interaction that character has with Bryn is some of my favorite stuff. The other thing that is not at all a spoiler is Bryn gives nicknames to everybody, especially if they're like a goon and she's not going to ever know their actual name. And so some of my very favorite parts were the nicknames she came up with. And I don't know if this happens to anybody else, but this happens in my family. You'll like name a pet and they will grow up to embody that name like perfectly. So several times I didn't even plan it exactly the way it happened. She would bestow a nickname upon a goon, and that goon would really, really, really pull that name off. I'd be like, oh, this is why she named him that. Great. I love it. So I don't know. Those are some of my favorites.
It was a really good theme throughout. In fact, I picked up that technique from Marisa a little bit. Like, I don't know how to describe this guy. Let's give him a nickname and then just call him like Grumpy or like, Hench, whatever.
Yeah.
It works really well. And one thing that I've been doing when I read from Marisa or Casey Azell, not so much Nick Severson, but mostly the ladies, I will reach a certain point and go, I knew it. I knew this character was hot. Every time I will find the hot character. I am who I am, guys.
You are very good at this. Yeah, it's true. It's true.
So we get to one character who I really loved in The Spider. I loved him because I knew he was hot. And then he appears in this book.
Mm-hmm.
And it was wonderful and perfect. And then there was
not that guy.
Stupidly handsome face. And I'm like, I knew it. I knew he was hot.
It was great. I think that was in all caps too. I knew it.
It was. I was very, very excited. I was actually on a family vacation while I was reading this. So we're in the car. And I shouted that loudly enough that my children who were on headphones, on tablets, stopped. It was like, don't worry about it. It's fine. They're like, okay. Okay.
What did you know, Mom? That was fine. It's not going to affect you for many years. The Spider. So Jeremy flashed the cover up there. Not weird. Thanks, Jeremy. So I got to write that with the fabulous William Allen Webb. And that, while it does introduce a lot of the conflict that Bryn is dealing with, you do not have to read it first. I mean, you might want to because it's delight. But you can go back and read it afterwards for more color. You can, Charlie says it's a great read. So, thanks, Charlie. We had a lot of fun. There are 4 point of view characters. They are all, like we were saying earlier, they're all the protagonists of their own story. And they are all not at all remotely the protagonist of the other characters' stories. And that was super fun. I think we pulled it off. But yeah, so super fun. Does lay some good groundwork for the Valkyries initiative. You don't have to read it first. I did my best to build everything you need to know as far as Bryn wants you to know in the book. So, because it is Valkyrie's Chosen is in first person, and so you know what the narrator wants you to know. So,
no more, no less.
Yeah. She's the director of spies versus spies kind of organization. So compartmentalization is real.
And she will keep you guessing until almost the very end.
No.
The other thing that she will do, and I'm not sure if I'm talking about Bryn or Marisa at this point. Probably going to blame Marisa because while there was plenty of goose honking and moose dying noises, and I knew it, there was one point where I was damn near bawling, actual tears, like, oh God, you just like ripped my heart out, and it was wonderful. And that's one of the best things about urban fantasy is that you can go from those extremes in the same story, and it works so well.
Yeah. Bill, we are not the same people. She is way deadlier than I am. I will say, Bryn has a lot more dangerous habits than I do. Hobbies, best friends. I don't know. Column A.
I mean,
yeah.
Talents.
Yeah, you are definitely in this book going through what is probably the most eventful several months of Bryn's entire life, and she has not had a boring life. So she goes through a lot of spectrum of emotions throughout the course of this book, and I hope that the readers join her on that journey. from a safe distance. But, you know.
No getting blown up. I mean,
Yeah,
we're
don't.
by a few times. We don't know.
We don't. Yeah.
What we do know is that she survives, and then she goes and she does what she does best. She
Yeah.
recruits.
She recruits. She's really good at that. So, you know, it's kind of fun.
I was told I have to read this exactly as I wrote it because I was taking notes really late last night and I was very silly. So I went series runner awesomeness and go.
Okay. So like I said, this is the kickoff to a spin-off series, the Valkyries Initiative. So there are several things. So Jeremy, get ready with them covers. So another optional read that I strongly, strongly recommend, I am very biased and also right, is the Valkyries Initiative, which is an anthology. And good. Oh my God, you guys. I loved every single story in this anthology. And yes, I edited it, but man. So I asked 15 different authors to give me their story of a woman who would be potentially recruited to the Valkyries Initiative. And I said, I want strong female characters that are more than strong female character. Like I want actual people, like give me actual characters that have personality and levels and complexity and feel real and not just like I am man with boobs or I am cardboard perfect woman or whatever. Every single author delivered. Just so good. Like there are men in these stories, you guys, and they're not stupid to make the girl look cool. Like
Nope.
They're good at what they do. It's amazing. It's possible, people out in the world. So very cool. I I enjoy it greatly. So that like kind of started it. The spider builds some of the conflict, and then it starts for real with the spider, and then it starts for real with Valkyrie's Chosen.
Mm-hmm.
And now I do
cover, Bill.
love this
You
cover so much.
did so well on this, Bill.
Seriously, Bill Webb
Gorgeous.
ass on this. Oh my God, it's so good. Also look at her butt. It's so good. Okay.
Yeah.
So look at her butt. So in this book, I also want people to remember, because I love every single person that posted, "Are you chosen?" And I hope you are, but not soon, because who do the Valkyries choose? We're not going to answer that on this podcast. Go forth and find out. But Valkyries Chosen was a very specific title, chosen for many reasons, partially because I could not have what I wanted because, John Ringo and his brilliance got there first 20 years ago. But regardless.
Thanks, Dom.
Thanks for being awesome and ahead of me. It's fine. But yes, so Valkyries Chosen, very specifically chosen title. But through the course of that, you see how the Valkyries team does come together, and what happens because of it. And then this year, there are 2 other books. They are already done. They are in editing, about to be edited. I have seen them. Everything's very exciting. And one is by this bitch. And let me back up. We're going to come back to this because she said earlier how she goose honked and dying moose noised and cried and yelled in all caps.
Mm-hmm.
But this jackass, he wrote a book that I read right after I finished Valkyries. I yelled at her for like 3 hours. I yelled at her in comments. I yelled at her in chat. I yelled at her in her email. And then I believe at some point we talked and I yelled at her more. Oh, it was because it was several days later and her husband was like, "I'm a little sad that you've already like gotten all of that out." I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I could do it right now." And he's like, "Yes, please." And I did, because the emotions, you guys. So TBD on that book and more about it. I'll just be smug because I get to know about it. But it's so goddamn good. She is so goddamn good. This fucking Melissa Olthoff person. Absurd. So all caps. I mean, yell. I was mad. It was so good. But it was so good. So
Love you.
I love you so much. I know. You're matching.
She is not exaggerating. There was like all caps.
And then the title of the email I sent her with the document back in it was, "I'm still in all caps." And then the whole email was all caps. I gave her no other context in the title. That's not how I do things.
No.
So Melissa's Valkyries book is also fucking awesome. It is hilarious. Is this where No, Goosehawk started with Salvage Bunny.
It did. With the name of her ship.
Interesting. But
Hi, Nick.
Shadow. Oh, hey, Nick. I don't know why I said that so judgily. I'm glad you're here.
Because he's late. How dare?
That's why. So Shadows May Fall is Melissa's book. It is so good. If you read the Valkyries Initiative anthology, you met Athena and Sebastian. And if you read Shadows May Fall, you might see what happens after that. So excited about that book. That will come out in, I think, 2 months, right? So I think that's
September,
aiming for September-ish. And then, Nick, you're not a wizard. No.
I'm always a
queen. Queens and wizards arrive, precisely. Anyway, and then 2 months after Melissa's book, you will get Soulmate by Matt Novotny, which is so good. It's so good.
So good.
It was real good when I first read it, and then he was like, "Wait, no, I want to change some things. I want to clean some things up." And then it was all caps shouting at people. So good. It's and it's a fun crew. Every single character. I cannot imagine that book without any of the characters. There are several characters that you get to spend a lot of time with, and I can't imagine. They're all so incredible and so different and so integral to the story. Oh, I'm so excited. So those are done. And so you're going to get 3 boopity boopity boop this year. The next one will be Casey Izell and I will be writing one for early next year. It should be super fun. And then it's a little bit of a race because we've got a lot of really, really awesome authors working on Valkyrie's books. So we've got the overarching arc. And we've got various plans, but so there'll be introductions of all of these characters throughout their joining of the team and all of that good stuff. So it's gonna be super, super fun. I'm really excited. Yvonne, that is a great question where a list is of where you can find all the books. I'm gonna punt that to our fabulous publisher, Bill. But maybe I can put them on my website. We'll do that. Maybe we'll see what Bill says. But yes. Also, Jeremy, please pull up Yvonne's comment so we can all squeal over Melissa about congratulations on winning your 3rd Imaginarium Award, right? Didn't you win 2 the first year?
No, second
one. Okay.
So I got, thank you, Yvonne, so much. Thanks, Marisa. So I got best short story for my Valkyrie story last year.
Yes.
So Athena and Sebastian are award winning. Woo.
They are.
Right, Sebastian's very smug about this. Just saying. Athena does not care.
Fair. The end of this hasn't happened for Matt's book yet. I just did this for Melissa's book, but the end of every Valkyrie's book, there will be a memorandum of record from the director of the Valkyries Initiative. And because she is writing it for absolutely nobody, because she reports to nobody, and nobody can know what they're doing, these are not super formal. This is just Bryn giving into her many years in human resources need to document things, but they are notes to no one and just for our enjoyment, really. So it's good. I love that Nick is committed to this all caps thing over here. So that's good. All caps. Check comments. Okay, Bill. I don't see it, but I trust you. I will trust somebody to check comments for me. Okay, so that was showrunner awesomeness.
Oh man. Yes, you are invested, Nick. When he,
I love it.
Yeah,
and committed in many, many ways. So Bill said check comments because he sent something cool, and Jeremy is going to show it to us. I haven't seen it.
Ooh, very cool.
Is he going to show it to us right now? I don't know. Ooh. Well, all right, Bill.
Nice.
I like it. Okay, you can take it off our face. Thank you so much.
That's really cool, Bill.
That's so good. Oh, Bill, I love it. That'd be a fun ad, I think.
Mhm.
Oh, the Valkyries. I've gone too far to turn back now. Good goodness. Bill, you're the best. That's so great. Thank you. I love it. Oh yes, we are gonna find the urban fantasy fans, friends. You all get to help. You're welcome. Thank you.
Mhm.
But we are gonna find those urban fantasy friends, and we're going to provide them with much enjoyment through the Valkyries initiative. So
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. All right. So we kind of
Mhm.
covered the series and we
Mhm.
covered future plans. I may or may not have, screwed around on my Sunday and completely outlined book two because you said it yourself. Like Bryn's character voice is so strong in your head. And it's the same
Yeah.
thing for me with Athena and Sebastian. Like
Mhm.
they are front and center right now, which is a little irritating because I'm supposed to be writing hyenas with Mr. All Caps in the comments.
Okay.
It's fine. I've got this, Nick. It's totally fine.
Uh-huh.
But these stories, like they just grab hold of you and you just want to see where it goes. And you're outlining a little bit, but most of the time we're just like, let's just blow something up or shoot somebody and see what happens. It's
Mhm.
great.
It's so much fun.
Murder, mayhem,
Magic. Yeah, that's what we got. We so one secret, I guess, circle of trust, just you guys who are here with us and the 4 people who watch it after. We in this book, see if you can find it. If you can find it, I will gift you a
Ooh,
Valkyrie sticker for sure, and maybe also a book. I don't have any books yet, so I can't promise any. But um, certainly a Valkyrie's sticker. You see this cool emblem, no logo, yes, up in the corner. It's that. So you can have a cool Valkyrie sticker and maybe a book. If you can figure out the secret of where Bryn levels up in the book, because I think it's subtle. But the moment, I want you to find the moment it happens for her first. Like it is my favorite trope, so obviously I had to use it.
mhm.
She has started. I can't look at the comments right now. She has started her process and has not yet figured out the trade-off of that power up. That will come later. But if you can find it, how do you know? Nick hasn't read the book yet?
He has not. He has no idea what he's talking about. Ignore him, everybody. He is
Yes.
just Nick.
So the contest is not over on day 1. But you, Circle of Trust folks, if you can find it and tell me, I will gift you a sticker and then maybe a book. I do enjoy, Jeremy has said this many times. Jeremy has specifically asked me to write urban fantasy before because it is absolutely his favorite genre. Dresden was one of the first series that made him go, oh yeah, I guess I could read more. This sounds great. I do really enjoy Nick's response of quit kissing ass, Jeremy. You already married her. You're welcome. Thank you. See, you two folks, just marry an author and have them write your favorite stuff. And hopefully you'll like it. Otherwise, that's going to get real awkward. But,
A little bit.
yeah. So anyway, so that is my secret for our circle of trust is see if you can find Bryn's level up moment.
Mm. And unlike Nick, I actually know the answer. So
Yeah.
I'm not in the contest and I don't accept bribes at all.
Can confirm she accepts bribes, you guys. So, maybe we'll see with Dragon Con. I don't know.
Oh my goodness. At the Fantasy Gather too.
I will have copies at Fantasy Gather. So if you come with the answer there, maybe I'll be able to just decide your book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that could be fun, guys.
Oh, Nick, you are so right. I'm not going to wheel back there. There's a dog bed in the way. It's going to be a whole thing. But behind me, there is a big poster that Bill made for us for LibertyCon, I think 2 years ago for the Valkyries initiative. The things you probably can't see because I think you can see her some of her assets, but she has a rocket launcher, which is very important to me for many reasons. And there is also the world's coolest minigun on her demon horse thing.
That thing is like a muscular demonic bull of some kind. It's not even a horse. It is badass.
I love it. I love it so much.
So cool.
Nick, I've already unplugged my camera once. I'm not risking like falling on my face on the internet. It's too far. It's too far. It's there. Look at it. You can see the vibe. You can see the vibe. It's a cool vibe.
I will say that the panel that we did at LibertyCon, I think it was last year. I don't know. We don't do time math. No time math. The panel that we did at LibertyCon one amazing year was one of the best, funnest, most brilliantly awesome panels that I think we've ever done. I mean, we had Rob Howell pretending to be all of us at one point. We had Casey Izell being Rob Howell, Joelle. Mel Todd. We had you and me, and who else was on that panel? I know I'm forgetting. There were a lot of awesome Valkyries on that panel.
Yeah.
And it was, yes, Nick took a lot of incredibly flattering pictures of us. Thank you, Nick.
Zero flattering. Super funny. Zero flattering. But in one, I am glad he captured it because I was giving him the look that I usually give him in public places, which is just like, there's my little brother doing little brother shit again. And it's hilarious. I can post, Jesus Christ, Nick, no. Keep them to yourself.
Oh my God. There is one picture that I got from us at this last LibertyCon where we're both looking towards Nick and the looks on our faces are like, are you freaking kidding me? I will find that picture.
That sounds great. Oh man, I love it. You can keep trying, Jeremy. Maybe someday I will write smut. I was just asked that at a party this weekend. It was delightful.
And then she asked us for our best smut recs because, again, I am who I am. I have no shame. And I love reading smut. And I'm like, ooh, this one was good.
Yeah. So I was talking to folks at this party this weekend, and they were super pumped about like books and authors and nerdery and all of that. And then there's this one woman who was so cool. Like, I just want to be friends with her. But she pulled me aside and she's like, okay, but like, would you consider writing smut? And I was like, fun fact, we have all talked about it. And she's like, cool. Like, I need to recommend more to some of my clients because they're asking the whole thing. Anyway, so this is not like an unprovoked, like, let me word vomit a bunch of recommendations at you. But I was like, hold on, I have two friends who are very well read in these genres. Let me get you some recommendations. And I did. And she's like putting them on her phone while we were talking. She was so excited. And she's like, and if you write it, you let me know. You let me know right away. And I was like, yep, we got you. We got you. So.
Dang it. I am not texting, by the way, Nick. I'm trying to find this picture and apparently I failed. So I will find it later.
Yeah. All right. So thanks to Bill being awesome. Go ahead, Jeremy, and put it up. Bill sent the image. So now you can see it, Nick. Jesus Christ. And I didn't have to fall on the internet. So hooray. Thank you. Thank you so much, Bill. Bill also designed this. But look at her. Look at the mini good. Look at I love it. I love everything.
And that rocket launcher is super important. I mean, that's one of the best things about shared universes, right? Yeah. Is not just the big tie-ins, but the little tie-ins. Like maybe a grenade launcher or RPG spray painted pink that just happens to be in more than one story. I mean, you never know. It could happen.
Yeah. Yeah. No, thank you, Bill. Jeremy can. Although I kind of like how that one essentially, like the book blocked us, but she's like, I'm just going to sit right here in the middle. It's pretty great.
It's so awesome.
Oh my God, these messages. Yes, Nick did text us on the panel at LibertyCon. It was hilarious. And Bill is not as lazy as I am, Nick. He also was not in danger of falling on the internet. So shut your whole face.
We did. Well, we had Casey Moore's crab walking to get us waters on this panel. It was epic.
It was a really great panel. We'll have to do it again sometime. That'd be good. Yeah.
I think we should.
Yeah. Hundo P. Have I actually talked about what this book is about?
I think we've touched on it a little bit, but I think you should give us your best spiel, and then we can talk about things that we really loved about Bryn in particular, because I've got a few.
Oh, okay.
I prepared. See, we're still on the rails, Jeremy.
Totally rails. Wait. Anyway, speaking of the internet, so the book begins with a line that may feel vaguely familiar to some people. So it is a truth universally acknowledged that the reward for being good at your job is more work. This is bullshit. So Bryn starts off the book newly promoted. She is now the director of the Valkyries Initiative. And through the course of the book, you see what it takes to put together a disavowed team that is charged with protecting potentially one semi-interdimensional murder organization from a second interdimensional crime cartel organization, and all the many moving pieces therefore entailed. So there is, like, as we've joked before, there is murder, there is magic, there is mayhem, and we did touch on things of, like, you're going to follow Bryn through some pretty wide emotional arcs. So yeah, her motto is kind of go big or go home, and sometimes you can't go home. So 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 that's the book. So, and it's all first person. It's all with Bryn. So Bryn probably won't have her own solo novel again after this. You will see her again with Casey's Valkyrie, Reina, and you will see her pop into everybody's books because she is the director. But it turns out the director, once her team is functional, only gets to do so much cool shit because her team is out there doing a lot of shit. So she might be, yeah. And you're welcome because she's awesome. But she, for people who aren't watching, Nick asked, so she's an emotional homeless chick. Yeah. The book is dedicated to anybody who meets hard times with humor. And that felt really timely right now. And also is how I get through everything. So it's very much like Bryn's anger. So while, yes, she goes through an emotional arc, Nick, because she doesn't have, the emotional capacity of a teaspoon. She is not, the most emotions you're usually seeing from her are the snark as she gets through it. Usually. So anyway, yeah.
That's one of the best things about urban fantasy is that usually it's first person. So we get to be like in the character's head. And even though Bryn presents herself as snarky and competent and a goddamn professional, you can see behind the mask that she is presenting to everybody. And there are certain characters who maybe can see what she's doing as well. So again, going back to like the found family stuff, like Bryn doesn't just have the team that she's building. She has some support. And one of my favorite characters, and she is featured in the Valkyries Initiative anthology, is Dahlia, our scary murder death doctor chick, who is so much fun. And Marisa was kind enough to let me play with her a little bit, so to speak. And that's not just urban fantasy, but that's one of the best things about shared universes, right? Is the big tie-ins, the little tie-ins, the hey, can I borrow your character just for a little bit? I swear to God, I will return them in mostly the condition that they arrived in. It's mostly. Mostly. So the character that's hot, of course, Victor, I'm like, I need to borrow him for book 2 for reasons.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
Yeah. Dahlia is one of my favorite characters. So she was my first intro. Back in the day, Hit World did a You Pay, We Slay anthology. And she was my entry point there. And I loved her so much. I was like, well, I can't leave her. But so there's a thing in Hit World for characters to come into their full power, their full magical power. They have to like go through a lot of shit, basically. And so Dahlia was traumatized by that process deeply, because one of the things she saw was who she could become with her full power. And it's not good for anyone but her, turns out. It's real bad, like end of the world, maybe end of the universe, bad. So Dahlia is on a leash, self-imposed at all times. But in this book, so really one of my favorite scenes in this book, she slips that leash just a little bit. And there's a moment where Bryn goes, one day I might have to worry exactly what Dahlia is. because usually she's like, I mean, I don't really know what Dahlia is, but we're all fine. And then she has a moment where she's like, and Dahlia only slips the leash like
just a little bit.
it's just a little bit, but I am really excited. I'm not saying she's going to be a big bad at any point, but I'm not saying that. So, just pay attention to Dahlia, see what you think.
Yeah. I definitely had fun with her one thing that those characters in Hit World or Valkyries can do is it's called walking the balance. You cannot access all the things until you are, balanced. And that means different things to different characters. And my characters have a similar vision quest type thing. And I had fun showing a glimpse of what would happen if Dahlia ever really slipped the leash or was possessed by some eternal spirit of hunger, as it happens in Valkyries, right?
Yeah.
But Athena also was like, oh, I know what she is, because her dad knew a lot of things before a certain hot assassin killed him legally.
So many layers, just like onions over here.
Right.
A lot.
And the great thing is, guys, all you have to do is start reading the anthology and then read the Spider. And I mean, there's so much awesome books to read.
Yeah.
And we're just getting started.
Yeah. I mean, or you could jump right into Valkyrie's Chosen and then catch up whenever you want, because just it's out today. You could be one of the first people to read it. And then maybe you could beat Nick, because Nick is sure he knows all these things. He's in the comments right now yelling about it.
You want to beat Nick Steverson because he is such an ass.
I really do. He is cracking me up over here, though. Progressive urban fantasy. No, I know what she's. Right now, Nick, you actually sound a little bit like you are a little bit like the credits in Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Like, no, Moose bit my sister. No, really. I know the name. It's very much like that right now. I love it. Now, if it were just like had little umlauts over everything, we'd be golden. Okay. Yes. You said you had another question. I'm sorry. I went a little sideways. You said you had something else. I don't know.
Bryn. That's right.
Bryn.
No, we were going to talk about Bryn, but there was something I thought of, which was kind of hand in hand with like urban fantasy tropes.
Yeah.
Is your favorite urban fantasy monsters?
Oh,
right. Monsters, magical powers, that sort of thing. And Hit World and Valkyries, all of it's there. Yeah. Everything that you could imagine is in this universe, which is one of the reasons why it's so much fun.
Yeah.
It could be something from, old monster movies or mythology or, all of our typical urban fantasy stories, or it could be something you just pull out of your butt, and it's great because it's allowed.
Right. It fits. It doesn't break the universe.
That's what he said.
Yeah. That's a different kind of genre, but yeah, there's an all caps war in the comments right now, friends. If you
know how to do is turn off the caps button.
If you are just listening, you should perhaps check the comments at the end or something, because it's hilarious. And it doesn't even need us to make sense. You can just read them afterwards and enjoy.
You're welcome, Nick.
So delightful. I mean, there is a butt silk joke in the book also. So, we are all pulling things out of our butts in the story and out. I don't know if that needed to be on the screen, Jeremy, but thank you so much. Jesus Christ, I can't. So one of my favorites, I think, is going to be what you're going to say, so I'm not going to say it. I love when the Fae show up in a slightly different way. So one of the short stories in the Valkyries Initiative anthology, I won't spoil which one, but it is, I love them all so much, and I love this one very, very, very much for many reasons. But it's a very subtle use of the Fae, and I am obsessed. And
I know which story you're talking about. It was so good,
but not so good. And I think at one point she surprised herself. She's like, "Oh shoot, that's what I did." That's how it was. They knew they were Fae the whole time, but it took her a minute to realize. And that was amazing.
We just have to catch up to our characters. It happens.
Yeah, I love it. So I love any use of the Fae in kind of a little new twisty sort of way.
Nobody should be shocked that my answer is werewolves.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to make a joke with Nick's talk about a full moon comment. What a segue. Yeah. He's talking about butts, but we're talking about werewolves.
Oh man.
How interesting with with werewolves and how much you like them.
So weird. So weird.
Hmm.
Anyways,
Hmm.
moving along.
Okay. So what was the other thing? Because then probably we should wrap up. I don't know. Somehow an hour has gone by.
I have no idea how that happened. This is
crazy.
why we don't do time math. Y'all are welcome.
Agreed. Yeah.
But so Bryn as a character, right?
Mhm.
Like, you know, we know what she does, but
Mhm.
one of my favorite things about her is that while she is strong in every way that you want, even when she wants to give up, she's
Mhm.
still has that depth of character to her, but she is so very human in all of her flaws. And I love that not only wasn't she wasn't a cardboard cutout, she wasn't any of those things, but she felt real to me. Like I can see her in my head, and she's not my character, but her voice is strong enough on the page that I can hear it.
Mhm.
And one, that's freaking talented as hell, and I love you.
Thanks.
And two, I loved how she handled her business, right?
Mm.
Like she was snarky, she was badass when she needed to be. She went for help when she needed it, but she was like a fully fleshed out character and exactly what we needed for this story. So, what was your particular favorite thing about her? All of the many reasons she's awesome.
Oh, thanks. I love her. She's like, to Nick's point, she is like more real than a hallucination in my head. Like she was a fully formed person in my head. We should maybe worry about my psychological health. But like
We're all mad here.
we're all mad here. Thank you. But she, like I said, her voice never wavered. I knew exactly who she was. And I knew exactly who she was. So the story in the Valkyries Initiative is Dear Cynthia. And I had the start of a story. I had like the first third, at least, I think, of a story. I was feeling pretty good about it. And I had just a weird Microsoft Word error, and it was gone. Just gone. And so I had to write my story again. And I was, oh my God, I was so mad. But that exasperation actually fully formed Bryn in my head. And Bryn has a bit of an attitude the entire story, and it has not gone away since. So that's very exciting. So I do love that about Bryn. And I think the thing that I loved the most about her is Melissa said this. She comes real close to giving up, and she could. There is an out. She has an out, and she goes for help instead. And she doesn't tell herself that's what she's doing. Like she's not like, oh, I'm gonna go for help. I'm gonna make it through this and go for help. She does though, and I love it, and I love that, and I think there's a reason I dedicated the book the way I did. Like so many of us go through so much. And let's just be smart and go for help, even if we're not going to tell ourselves that's what we're doing. I love a lot that she does that. And I really love that scene a lot too. And I agree. You have to be crazy to be an author. It is a prerequisite. Very smart, Charlie. So Jeremy would like us to be quiet again and tell everybody something. I clicked away from it. It's gone now. But what other projects do we have coming up, and where can people find us? So Melissa, do you want to go first? Because I just did a lot of talking about Bryn.
So we both have a release this Friday with Chris Kennedy Publishing. We have Casey Izel's Ashes of Ensicia, the very first anthology coming out in that freaking epically awesome space opera universe that the geniusly, deviously awesome Casey Izel came up with, and then recruited Chris Kennedy because who else are you going to pull in when you need a dad type character?
You get the boss.
And they have a whole trilogy out, and then we have this anthology releasing on Friday.
Yeah.
And it has, I mean, I think Chris said it was maybe, perhaps, quite possibly the best anthology that CKP has put out.
He said
So
one of.
Because
he also, way back in the day, said that about the Valkyries anthology too. So, you know,
he
one
did.
of.
Yeah. So that one's coming out. The cover is Sam Kennedy, not related to Chris Kennedy, but oh man, that cover is gorgeous.
We love Sam Kennedy in this house.
We do. Cover goals. My God, that man is fantastic. So we have that. We will be doing a release party podcast thing at some point. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
next Friday. Yes, that's how time works. August
Uh-huh.
2nd. The other Casey Moores, and I have our first co-written novel coming out in the Blood and Armor universe with created by the freaking amazing Bill Fawcett.
So good. So good.
So this is the fourth book in the series. It's called Forlorn Hope.
Mm-hmm.
And I made an editor cry, and I am so proud about that. I made myself cry too, to be clear, but
yeah.
it's fine. Somebody on Discord asked me to
I
sell
was gonna say it. Jesus. Yeah.
Told me to sell it in 9 words or less. So I was like,
Ooh.
powered armor, epic battles, made my editor cry. I regret nothing.
Boom. You did powered armor as 1 word, but that's fine. I like it.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's gonna
I
dash.
use the hashtag at some point. So
That's
yeah,
right.
it's awesome. If you have not checked out the Blood and Armor series, Never Again is book 1 by Bill Fawcett himself. The next 2 is No Fail with Bill Fawcett and Casey Moores, and then No Further book 3, which Chris Kennedy said was his favorite book of this year so far.
Yeah.
So pretty freaking awesome. And then after that, outside of the project that made Marisa yell at me for 3 hours straight, we'll see what happens there.
TBD.
My Valkyries novel, Shadows May Fall, in September. All this weekend. All right, Marisa, you're up.
What do I so I have 2 releases this week, Valkyrie's Chosen, and then the Remnants of Empire anthology this week on Friday. Thanks to Casey Zell, I got to write a story with her, which was great. We are doing a novel later this year that will build from that story, which is very exciting. And then I will be on a release pause because I will be working on 2 to 6 secret projects. So some of you may have heard about them already, but I'm going to stick with their secret until they are more planned. But they are very, very, very exciting. And yeah, I can't wait. Also this year, yes, I realized I've done like 7 projects this year, which is crazy, but a big one that I would love for you to go check out if you haven't is Beyond Enemies. Thank you, Jeremy and Nick. It was my debut solo novel. It was my first traditionally published novel with Baen Books. Sam Kennedy did the cover, and I made a noise that only dogs and dolphins could hear. I
heard it.
I love that book very, very much. And if enough people buy it, I might be able to write a sequel. So,
and I'm going to make an just desperate plea. Y'all don't understand. 1, I read that book. It broke my brain. Like, it didn't just break my brain. I sat in my kitchen while my awesome husband was making dinner. I sat and I just stared into just eternity. I was like, what do I do with my life now? Also, bendy hotness. I need bendy hotness.
You need bendy hotness.
Again, yeah. I am going to find the one character that is hot in every book, and I need book 2. So y'all go and buy it. It's freaking amazing. I think I've bought it 3 times separately by accident, and I don't care.
Oh my God, it's amazing. I will say every time I've gone to a Barnes & Noble and found it, which is like 4, and it's very exciting, I have sold at least 1 copy of it to the people that work at Barnes & Noble, which is delightful, to a random passerby who was attracted by my squeals of excitement upon seeing it in a bookstore shelf, or a very kind, there was this last bookstore, there's this very kind gentleman who was like, oh, you really like, can I give you recommendations? And I was like, yes. And he proceeded to give me like, oh my God, so many good recommendations. I was making Jeremy take them down so I could just like absorb the amazingness. It's fine. My TBR will kill me one day, and so be it. I also, in return, sold him a copy of Howard Andrew Jones's Lord of a Shattered Land, because he really loves the Conan books. And I was like, wow. How about a new twist on Hannibal? I think you will enjoy. He was really pumped.
Girl right here.
God, those books are so good, you guys. And then I talked to another really lovely couple who was like, wait, what was your book? Okay. And they're like writing notes. And I think I also sold them a copy of Joe Boone's The Magnetar. Yeah, because he's like, I really like Star Trek kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, wow. Guess who I know? So anyway, Rising Tide lifts all boats. Please check out Beyond Enemies if you haven't. Please check out Valkyrie's Chosen if you like urban fantasy, and get ready for, I'm not sorry, the Ride of the Valkyries this year. as we will be delivering 3 books to you this year and at least 2 next year, probably also 3. And we really hope you have fun with us. So is that it? Oh, on the internets.
Yes, where can we find us? So you can find me at melissaolthoff.net.
Amazing.
I swear at some point I will get .com, so I too can go both ways.
Nice. This is my channel that I will do things with in the near future, like right now. So if you have not, please go ahead and like this video. Please subscribe to my channel, which will not spam you because I forget to use it multiple months at a time. And on the internet streets, you can find me at marisawolf.com or marisawolf.net because like Bryn, I go both ways. Yeah. Bill is right. Valkyries just want to have fun. And they want you to have fun because they're not having fun. They're getting the shit kicked out of them on a regular basis. But
In real life.
Yes.
In real life, where can they find us? Because they can find us at DragonCon.
DragonCon!
Right?
Yes!
The biggest nerd party on the Eastern Coast. Oh, it's going to be so fun. So fun.
So DragonCon is for like 85,000 of your closest nerd friends. It is so much fun. It is amazing. It is huge. It is amazing. Also this year, for the very first time, both Melissa and I are going to Deep South Con, which this year is in Helen, Georgia during Oktoberfest. So if you like beer and you like small cons where you get to talk to a lot of really cool people because it's a nice small con, but also it's happening in Oktoberfest, you should probably check it out. Deep South Con.
And Mel Todd will be there too.
Mel Todd will be there.
Who not only had his short story in the Valkyries Initiative, has said that she is interested in writing a full-up novel.
She has.
So we might do some plotting and some shenanigans and maybe some beer tasting.
I hope beer tasting. Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah,
really
always shenanigans. So yeah, you can see us in real life. You can see us on the internet streets. You can read our books and see little pieces of our crazy souls. Not Nick. Apparently Nick's not crazy, but
he's crazy.
Yeah. Get books signed. I mean, we have so many options for you. Come hang out.
You know you want to.
You know you want to. Yes, get it signed. I think I have some that are. I don't even know. We're moving soon, so everything's everywhere.
Everything's chaos. And Jeremy, aren't you proud of us? We mostly kept it on the rails. You're welcome.
Mostly, yeah. Can you show the cover again for Valkyrie's Chosen?
Yes. Pretty please. That ass. Oh my God.
I love it so much. So you got the fantasy, you got the shield, you got the urban, you got the gun and the city.
Oh, and those colors. Love.
I love it. Okay, Jeremy, you're going to play us off. We just say goodbye. Thank you so much, Melissa, for hosting.
Anytime. Bye, guys.
Bye.